Hi guys, Brick McBricksworth here, and welcome to my 5 worst LEGO sets of 2020. If you want to see my top 10 best sets of 2020, I've left a link in the description below. Be sure to watch to the end of the video because there's a bonus set appearance. Let's get on with it. And the 5th worst 2020 set is the Star Wars Doritos TIE Fighter, otherwise known as the Sith Dagger with the triangle wings. Now this one was so nose heavy by the end of the wings, you couldn't actually swoosh it very well, so you couldn't like fly it about without it like dropping out your hand nearly. You had to have it on that little stand that they provided, and the stand was nothing special to say the least. The price was ridiculously expensive for what you got, but the actual build process on the wings looks brilliant. It looks good, but it just doesn't have that wow factor about it. So that's why this one came in at number 5 in the top worst sets. Number 4 in the worst sets of 2020. So the next one's a little bit of a controversial one, and it is really the whole line of the Super Mario sets. Now, the Mario itself is brilliant because I've seen some really, really funny videos created by some brilliant YouTubers out there. But other than that, the actual sets are not that brilliant. You can't do much with them. You can recreate them to an extent, but then after about 5 minutes, it's a bit boring. And then, you know, the target market is aimed at getting kids to play with sets again as opposed to playing on computer games. Then 5 minutes after they've played with the set, they've done the course and then back onto their computer console. So yeah, it's not got a big lifespan in each set, and to do anything else you've got to pay extras for all the extra little bits and stuff like that to each part of the set. So yeah, this one is definitely on this at number 4. And now the 3rd worst set of 2020. Now, as much as it pains me to say, there is another LEGO Star Wars set on this worst of list for 2020. It's the General Grievous Starfighter. Its price was absolutely ridiculous. It was so highly priced, it was just unbelievable. In fact, I can't actually say anything more about the set other than the price was so terrible for a reissue, although a good model, but so highly priced. I'm going to have to move on to number 2. And just missing out on the number 1 spot of worst 2020 LEGO sets is the Beatles art LEGO stud print things. Now, the other ones, where you had the Iron Man one or the Sith ones, they were brilliant because you could make some really good art prints of the Iron Man or Star Wars. Now, this Beatles one, on the other hand, was just, oh my days, so bad because most of them didn't look like the Beatles. They didn't look like anything they were trying to represent. And if you wanted all 4 Beatles, which you would, why would you just have Ringo Starr? Why would you just have Paul McCartney? No, you would want all 4 of them. And if you wanted all 4 of them, you would have to take out a second mortgage, because to get all 4, it was ridiculously priced. So the only reason that this one didn't get to the number 1 spot is because the next one is so terrible, it just couldn't have missed out on number 1. And in first place for worst set of 2020, in my opinion, goes to... In the first place for the worst set of 2020, and probably the worst set in quite a few years, goes to the main square city build. Now this one, it had the concept where you could build together because you had multiple books and each person could build their own part of the city. Now, to me, that's lots of people building lots of miniature sets. Whereas if you could just build a creator set, a big modular, you could divide up the pages between the 2 or 3 of you or whatever. and just build it together. So the concept was there, but the concept is always there. But the main downfall with this one, like I say, being priced the same as an expert modular, which are always full of amazing details, this one was just like a load of £10-12 sets put together, and it looks like a load of £10 sets just put together. So this one is definitely my worst set of 2020. And now we've come to the bonus set of 2020. And this goes to none other than the Colosseum, because it is both one of the best sets of 2020 and one of the worst sets of 2020. Now, hear me out. It needs its own bonus section because it can't go in the best of video and it can't technically go in the worst of video, because it is brilliant, because it is over 9,000 pieces and the price to part ratio is phenomenal because it's cheaper than the UCS Millennium Falcon and the Star Destroyer. So it's got price on its side. But as a negative, it's repetitive. So repetitive, and almost looks like you would fall asleep building it. The end result, though, after falling asleep building it, is phenomenal. It looks stupendous. It looks so good. On the negative side of that, it had to have that many pieces, and it has to be absolutely massive, or else it wouldn't look right. With that being the case, it's so large, you have to display it flat. At least with the Millennium Falcon, you can display it on its side, and it doesn't take up as much room. Whereas this one takes up so much room, you probably need something to actually display it in, like a coffee table specially made for it. So guys, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below if you agree or disagree with my personal preference on what I think are the worst sets of 2020. Now, I was only able to pick 5 because Lego is amazing. We all know it's amazing. Even these worst of sets are not bad sets in a way. Most people still buy them because they still love Lego. And I don't disagree with that. Leave a comment below. If you like the video, give it a like and consider subscribing. Have a wonderful new year, and let's see what sets we get in 2021. Brick McBricksworth, signing off.